Hi there. Hi, welcome to McBoss Capital. My name is Michael Chu. This video is about when to sell a stock for profit, and you can reach me at support@mcbosscapital.com. Just a quick disclaimer: none of the stocks you see in here should be used for your own personal buy or sell investments. So, we like to talk about how to focus on sharpening your skills. And a few areas we always like to focus on is what to buy, when to hold, and when to sell. Today, we're going to expand our uh, the talk a little bit in terms of not just how to hold, but also how to sell. And there's aggressive and passive short-term strategy. Simple rule of thumb for most people who like to sell, you can plan to take certain percentage of profit. For example, maybe depending how short term you trade, maybe you say, hey, I want to take 5% profit, 10% profit, or medium term, maybe 20, 25% profit, or maybe longer term, maybe even 50% profit or 100% profit. A good aggressive short-term sales strategy would be if you think that, let's say, your threshold may be 20% and you reach that 20%, but then you say, hey, maybe I don't want to sell everything at 20%, and you may place a sell limit. So as these bars here represent the stock moving on a daily basis. So as the stock moving up, maybe you're thinking that I want to sell at this level, but I'm gonna let it ride for a little bit longer. So in case it does rise, um, you may want to place a sell limit here. And if the next day it moves up again, then you actually gain more because it didn't undercut your sell limit price. And then the next day it might you might move up the sell limit to the next price here. So that way, you are, keep rising your profit that way. And you can keep doing that until maybe one day it will stop going up and it will start going down. And that's when it will trigger. Of course, this method may trigger your sales strategy quite often. So again, use this with your own guidance based on, again, the previous slide I showed you. Maybe you have a 20% and think that, hey, I reached 20%. I don't want to sell everything, but I'm going to use this strategy to sell on the trigger based on the sell limit. Today, we'll continue to showcase the same stocks we talked about in previous weeks, BioNTech, and Moderna. And again, we'll talk about whether you continue to hold or sell the stock. As we talked about before, we want to look on the down day that the low is not lower than the previous upday's low. And if it does go lower, then you want to check that the volume is lighter. Um, and then we also talk about computer software security group. We'll continue to monitor that. Again, you can also look at other potential sell signals or weaknesses. Maybe drop on heavier volume, close at the bottom of the range, or maybe even fell further below key moving averages. Those are potential sell signals. We'll also look at retail leisure products. Um, they're also on a strong uptrend, so we'll see that in a little bit. So we're going to jump to the charts right now. This chart is biotech, and uh, we did cover it the last few weeks. So if you want to watch the previous videos, you can see that this uptrend is very strong as it moves up, and this week it continued its move up. There was an only 1 day red here. So again, if you're holding the stock, you can look at the down days. So on Tuesday, it was down. However, it didn't undercut the previous update, the low, right? It's still, as long as the low is higher, that means the uptrend continues. So, so you may want to hold on to this. Now, with that being said, it is 44% above the pivot point here. So if you did buy at this point right here when it broke out around the previous high 131, and if you did buy here, you are up 44%. Now 44% is a pretty good gain in like a few weeks. um, and like I said, if you are aggressive in selling, you may want to think about taking some profit here, right? Maybe not the whole position, but maybe some part of the position. And you can also, like I said, place the low of the day's price as the lower sell limit. So if it does fall below it, at least it'll trigger the sell and you will take your profit at around 40% or so, right? However, that will give you the ability to keep riding on this trend if it does keep on moving. So just want to, talk about a little bit about that in terms of how and when you can take profit. So let's move on to Moderna. Moderna is currently still trying to reach the previous high of the base here. Now this week we saw two down days, and the first down day it did undercut the previous update. So the low here, and you can see it did undercut that low. And the next day, the second red day, also undercut, right? Continued to undercut the previous day as well. So both days are hitting new lows. So the next thing we want to look at is the volume. And you can see the volume down here is much lower than the update volume. So again, um, it's a warning sign in terms of undercutting the previous day low. But but the good thing here is that it didn't have more volume. So again, less people are willing to get out at this point. And then on Friday we have a update, which is signified by the blue bar. So in general here, I think the trend is still going up. And we're trying to see if this stock can break out above this point, this previous high here. If it does, it might have more room, like it might continue its uptrend. So watch out for that one. We're gonna jump to the software security group, and we've been following this group as it continued to move higher. Now, we did have a new high on Monday. However, since Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all 4 days are down days. So now this is a little bit concerned, right? Because it's going down. So now we want to make sure, we want to check for other signals. For example, so the Monday volume is really high on that day, but as it goes down, the volume, is still high, but it wasn't as high as the update, right? Now, but the problem is that it keep hitting. So the volume keep rising. So here is 3450. Here is well, slightly lower, 3448, and here is 3564. So that day was the highest, and then on Friday the volume came back down a little bit, 3249, right? So there's definitely some weakness here, but the good sign so far is not everyone is giving up. Because the volume is still not as high as Mondays. But obviously, the aggregate of those few days are a little bit concerning. Now we are at a critical junction here. So again, before we talk about the moving average, we also notice that every day it closed at the bottom of the range. So it closed low, pretty low on the range here. Um, so what we're seeing here is that it's now hitting the moving average. So last time it hit the moving average here, it did bounce off, right? So now we're hoping for the same thing. But again, watch out for the volume. Now it is a little bit concerning right now because of just the aggregate of those few days of down days, right? So the volume does add up, even though none of them are higher than this previous day. So it's just something to pay attention to. But let's take a quick look at individual stock. Um, if we just take a quick hindsight look at this, we know this same pattern here. The volume here on the up day on Monday was the highest, and then the next 4 days was drifting down. But all of those days were on lower volume. So this is Crowdstrike. We look at Okta. Okta. Um, so the volume was really low on Monday, so that's not a good sign on the up day. And then the next 4 days, as you can see, it went down. And then the last 2 days, the volume did come back in terms of dropping near the bottom of the range as well as higher volume. So again, not that it won't work. It could bounce off eventually if the whole group starts to move up. Just again, last time I talked about that. When you're looking at a group of stocks within, in this group, computer software security group, you can compare that, right? And some of them may be stronger than others. So though you may want to cut the weaker ones and get into the stronger ones, or just cut the weaker ones and hold on to the stronger ones. So that's another thing you could look at. Um, Palo Alto. So this one is the as we mentioned last week was quite weak, even last week, and this week we can see Monday here, Tuesday. Um, it did close low. I can't tell if it's lower, but yeah, it did close lower, and however, it and also close on higher volume, down on higher volume. Close range is 50%, so that's not bad. And then this last 2 days seems like the volume is lower than the update. So 630, 540, and 609. So it's still looking okay because it's just holding on basically right now. We'll look at Fortinet. This one has been on a strong uptrend until recently, again starting to drift lower in this week. We can see that on Monday it has strong volume, and then it start to fall, and but none of those days volume are higher, so that's good sign. And then on Friday, it rebound on really strong volume. So this is a good rebound because it shows that people are willing to buy at this stage. And not only that, it basically recovered the last 3 days losses. So a very good sign for this stock. Most likely, this stock will continue to move into the uptrend here. Yeah. So the last group we want to look at is the retail leisure products group. And here we're going to look at the chart of the group. And this one also on a very strong uptrend, as you can see here. In the last week, there was only one down day on Wednesday, and look how low that volume came in. It's really low. You see all these blue bars, which are up days, and look at the red day, the volume is one of the lowest. So people aren't willing to sell even at this level. So there's a high chance that this uptrend will continue. And we're going to look at some of the stocks here. Pool Corp. You can see it just broke out not too long ago, and now it's just slowly trying to find its way to move up. And so we look at the last 5 days. So on Monday it was down, but it was down on lower volume, so that's a good sign. On Wednesday it was also down, but also on lower volume, so those are very good signs. So this is a potential stock to look into. Dick's Sporting Goods. Um, this one definitely have more trouble moving up. You can see more red days here. But just to hone in on the last week action. So on Monday it came down. Volume was really low though. So 935 versus 970. So it was still higher than the previous update. So that's so that is a little bit weaker. And then the next day here, it was really high volume. Right, you see that one bar here that stick out. So that was Tuesday. And so that's again, both of those days are pretty like more selling than the previous update. So again, now we're starting to see some weakness. Again, this one, 3 days in a row, we saw some selling. Um, on the fourth day, it went back up a little bit, and then on the fifth day, you can see it went down um, below the key moving average here, and but on slightly lower volume. So there's a few problems here, right? Like I said, here we have a few down days on higher volume, and we also have a down day here below key moving average. So the pink line here is and the green line here are 10 and 21 days moving average. So it did rebound though, right? It did close at the top of the range. So it's not completely a bad sign, but something to watch out for. It might continue to rebound from here. It's hard to say, but and it might have shaken out a lot of people here as well. So, but yeah, Friday is definitely a good action, even though it's a red day. But continue to watch this stock to see if it can move back up. Leslie's, uh, this stock is still in the base right now. This uptrend here is pretty strong, as you can see with all the blue bars. And then on Friday, it did drop, but it did undercut the previous day's low. However, you look at the volume, it's quite low, right? So again, not many people willing to sell this, and it could be a handle here, which gives you an earlier buy point. We'll jump to Academy Sports here. So this stock is again, one of the things that it does look really messy here. However, one of the things I noticed is, even if you look at last week, right, all the down days were, if you look at the volume here, all the down days were actually lower than the previous update. Same thing with Wednesday and Thursday. The volume was lower than Tuesday. So, um, it seems like it's consolidating here, and so far not many people are willing to sell. But so if it can hold on for a little bit longer, it might be able to pull itself back up again. So this, you can see this 50-day moving average is just in a very steep curve, right, moving up. So this stock is definitely acting really strong. So the fact that it's going sideways is not a bad thing. So it might continue its run as soon as the 50 days starting to get closer to where the current price is. So that is this week's take on the market in terms of where some of the stocks that we monitor. Hopefully, you get a sense of when and how to take your profit and hold some of the stocks that you may have. Thanks for us. Hopefully, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. Give us thumbs up if you like this video. You can contact us with any of your questions, thoughts, comments. If you want us to analyze any stock, we provide educational and research service as well. So you can contact us at support@macbosscapital.com. Thank you for watching.